lungs. Apart from that, in the mediastinum, they can tie the trachea or esophagus, which I have demonstrated you. So it is very easy to locate the two. So all you can get in side question, I will discuss what you will get. But first, let us see the two lungs. So see these two things. The two lungs are a paired structure, and you should always be able to tell clearly which one is right side lung, which one is left side lung. Because in spotting, if the lungs is a question, the first question is identify the viscera and tell its side. If you make the side determinants wrong, then the whole question gets 0. So never forget how to determine the side of the lung. Now one thing, never determine the side of the lung from the lobes and fissures. Ideally in the right lung there are 3 lobes, 2 fissures. In the left lung 2 lobes, 1 fissure. But sometimes it can vary. Sometimes the right lung may have only 2 lobes, while the left lung may have 3 lobes. So the gold standard is, this is the hilum, this perforated area. And see, the lung is basically conical. So there is a narrow apex and broad base. So hold the lung such a way that the narrow apex is above, the broad base is below, and the hilum should be always inside, medial, and the sharpest border should be anterior. The sharpest border should be the anterior border. So this is the right side lung. Suppose I want to force it on the left side. See, some of the criteria are satisfied. Again, apex is narrow above, base is broad below, the hilum is towards the medial side, but see, the sharpest border is becoming posterior. Okay, so this one is the right lung, and if you see, this is the left lung, because here again you see, this is apex above, broad base below, and hilum is inside. And see, if I hold the lungs on this side only, then only the sharpest border is anterior, left lung. If I force it on the right side, see, the sharpest border is becoming posterior. So this is not correct. So this is the right lung, this is the left lung. Okay. Now there is a lot of theory regarding lungs, but we will discuss only that is relevant to the practical. But in the exam, lungs and heart can be full window questions, or can be asked in grand viva. So there they will ask you everything about lungs and heart, including development, if development is covered by that time. Okay. So see, if we see the right lung, see what are the parts here? Apex, base. Okay, this surface is towards the ribs. You can see the impression of the ribs here, and it is accordingly called costal surface. Whereas this is called the medial surface, having 2 parts. This is the mediastinal surface, that is towards mediastinum, and this is called vertebral surface, that is towards the bodies and intervertebral disc of the thoracic vertebrae. Okay, so the medial surface has got an anterior part, that is mediastinal surface, and a posterior part, that is vertebral surface. Then see, these are the borders. This is anterior border, sharpest one. See, this is posterior border. Never call this the posterior border. Immediately behind the hilum, that this is not the posterior border. This rounded border is the posterior border. Okay, because behind the hilum there will be some place for the vertebral surface. And see, this entire border that I am circling with my finger is the inferior border. Okay, so if they ask you what are the relations of different parts, see, above the apex that is cervical pleura, and above that suprapleural membrane or substance fascia. Below the base on the right side is the right dome of diaphragm, and below that right lobe of liver. On the costal surface there are ribs. How many? Along midclavicular line 6 ribs, along midactylar line 8 ribs, scapular line 10 ribs, 6, 8, 10. Midclavicular, midactylar, scapular lines. Okay. Then you see one thing over here. In the medial surface, I told you this is mediastinal surface and this is vertebral surface. Okay, so in the mediastinal surface, this is the hilum. See, hilum is often probed. They often probe the hilum and simply ask the side question, what is the structures passing through it? Okay, you can simply write pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, and bronchus. You will get marks. But if it is on the window or in the grand viva, then they ask you the relation here. So on the right side, it is bronchus artery, bronchus vein. So how to know a bronchus? It will be hard on all the sides. Okay, but artery or vein, it is either soft on all the sides or hard on only that side which is nearby the bronchus. So a structure that is hard on all the sides is a bronchus. Okay, but a structure that is either soft on all the sides or hard on any single part, then it is artery or vein. It is not easy to difference between artery and vein in the gross specimen. Okay, so bronchus. So we can make a manipulation here, bronchus, artery, bronchus vein. Okay, bronchus, artery, bronchus vein. See again here, right side from above downward relation, bronchus, artery, bronchus vein. So bronchus, artery, artery, bronchus vein. These two are bronchus. Okay, you can feel it later. It is hard on all the side. Bronchus, artery, bronchus vein. Then before backwards, vein, artery, bronchus. So vein, artery, bronchus. Okay. But if you, in the spotting, if you just write pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein and bronchus.
So what is vein, artery, bronchus?
There is a particular relation in the hilum. In the right lung, above downwards, it is bronchus, artery, bronchus vein. So first you can know the bronchus only by palpating it. It is hard on all the sides. So this is bronchus, this is bronchus. Then rest is pure manipulation. Bronchus, artery, bronchus vein. Before backwards, the relation is vein, artery, bronchus. So vein, artery, bronchus. Okay. Some of the teachers, they ask you about this particular arrangement in the grand viva or in the window. Rest, spotting, only write pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, bronchus. That is enough to give you the full marks. Okay. Then, see over here, you can find in the right lung above the hilum, there is a very deep groove. This is often probed. Apart from the hilum, what they probe here is this area. This is for the arch of azygous vein. See over here, this is for the arch of azygous vein. Okay. They often probe it and ask what is related here, that is arch of azygous vein. Okay. So then, this is cardiac area, and what are the chambers of the heart related to the cardiac area of the right lung? Very easy. What is on the right side of the heart? Right auricle, right atrium, right ventricle. Okay. And then this you can find on this side a very large impression on the costal surface. This is for the first ring. This impression is for the first ring. Okay. This area is for the thymus. This area is for the thymus, and this is the cardiac area, as I told you. And as you know that behind the hilum will be first the trachea, but only up to the hilum, because at the hilum it gives you two principal bronchi. Okay, please take out my mobile. The hilum, this is the area for the esophagus, and in front of the esophagus up to the hilum it is trachea, because at the hilum the trachea gives rise to two principal bronchi. So below that there is no part of trachea. The trachea terminates at the hilum. Okay, so this is the area for thymus. The cardiac area I have told which chambers are related here, and see, either they probe the hilum or they probe the arch for azygous vein. Okay. Then you should, so this is the relation of the medial surface, and you should know a bit about the two fissures and three lobes. See this one what I am pointing out is the oblique fissure, and this is the horizontal fissure. Okay. The oblique fissure begins behind a T4 or T5, depends. Some books give T4, some give T5, and then it goes below to meet the inferior border of the heart. Okay, where at 6th costochondral junction. Then the horizontal fissure begins at 4th costal cartilage, goes back and meets the oblique fissure at mid-axillary line. Okay, so see what about the oblique fissure? It begins behind a T4 or T5, depends. Then it goes to the inferior border, meets it at 6th costochondral junction. But the horizontal fissure comes from the front, from the 4th costal cartilage, goes back to meet the oblique fissure at the mid-axillary line. And the three lobes are upper, middle, lower. You should always remember the name of bronchopulmonary segments in any of the three lobes. So what is the bronchopulmonary segment? Can anyone answer? The part of lung supplied by?
It's a part of lungs
supplied by tertiary
bronchus
or segmental bronchus. Okay. So how many bronchopulmonary segments there are on either side?
10 on each
side. So see on the upper lobe of the right lung, what are the three segments? APA, apical, posterior, anterior. Okay, APA, apical, posterior, anterior. In the middle lobe, LM, lateral medial. In the lower lobe, it is superior, anterior basal, medial basal, lateral basal, posterior basal. Okay. So these are the different bronchopulmonary segments, and they may sometimes probe a lobe and ask name the bronchopulmonary segments in it. Okay. So what is the question to be asked in the lung in the right side? First, they will ask identify the viscera and tell the site, that is 1 mark. Then either they may probe the arch for azygous vein or the hilum, and if they probe the hilum, they ask what is passing through it. Okay. So this is we need to know about the.
So this one is thymus, no?
This area is for thymus.
This one, this upper
this
one.
area is for thymus. Okay.
This area.
Okay. This is for cardiac impression for the heart. Okay. Then see on the left lung, the parts are the same: apex, base. This is medial surface, which I got two parts: mediastinal surface, and then this is the vertebral surface. Then this is the anterior border, this rounded border is posterior border, and this entire border is inferior border. Okay. And mark one thing, on the anterior border we get a notch that is called cardiac notch, and below that there is lingula. If they tie the lingula, they usually ask name the bronchopulmonary segments contained in lingula. The answer is superior lingula and inferior lingula. Okay. Then if you see the relations, above the apex will be the cervical pleura, above the suprapleural membrane. Below the base, you have the left dome of the diaphragm, and below that, left lobe of liver, fundus of stomach and spleen. These three things are there below the base. And again, you see on the costal surface, again ribs, and same at the right side, 6, 8, 10, along mid-clavicular line, along mid-diagonal line, and along scapular line. Okay. Then, if you see the mediastinal surface, see this is the hilum, and if you feel over here, you can find for sure that this is the bronchus. Somehow it is not cut here. You can feel it, it will be hard on all the sides. This is the bronchus. Okay. So what is the relation on the from the hilum? Yes, from the hilum of left lung, ABV above downwards. So artery, bronchus, vein. Okay. Then what is the relation before backward? Vein, artery, bronchus. So see the pure manipulation. All you can know is the bronchus. Okay. So here this is the bronchus over here. This entire thing. So above downwards ABB. So people manipulate artery, bronchus, vein. Then before backward same on the right side. Vein, artery, bronchus. So vein, artery, bronchus. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
But never tell the examiner that I am manipulating. So this is the hilum, and another thing what they prove here is the area just above the hilum. Okay. This is called the area for the arch of aorta. They probe either the hilum in the left lung or the impression for the arch of aorta. Okay. This is the impression arch of aorta which is often proved. Then you see here again here the thymus. This is the impression for the first rib. Here you get impression for left subclavian artery, then left common carotid artery. So first there is impression for left subclavian artery, then left common carotid artery, then the impression for first rib on the left side. Okay. And see over here, this is the cardiac area, and it is a bit of unusual here that the parts of heart related to the cardiac area of the left lung is first left auricle, then left ventricle, and a part of right ventricle. This is the unusual thing here. A part of right ventricle related to the cardiac impression of the left lung, and the left atrium is not at all related here because that is displaced behind. As you have seen in hand, that is displaced behind. So don't tell here that the left atrium related to the cardiac impression or cardiac area of the left lung. Okay. Then see, this is the impression for the descending thoracic aorta. This is for arch of aorta, it will descend thoracic aorta. So behind it, above will be esophagus, they will cross below to in front of it, and again up to the hilum will be trachea. And nearby the esophagus, there will be a thoracic duct running on the left side. Okay. Yes. And see, this is the lingula and cardiac notch, and always remember the lingula is on the upper lobe. See this in this lung. So it's not separated properly. Okay. There is only one fissure here, oblique fissure, two lobes, upper lobe, lower lobe. And always remember the cardiac notch and lingula are on the upper lobe. They are not at all on the lower lobe, which people usually confuse. Okay. Then about the fissures and lobe over here, only one fissure, and the extent is same as right side. Behind T4 or T5, then it goes below, meets the inferior border, 6th postcoronal junction. There is no horizontal fissure here, so the lobes are upper lobe, lower lobe. So what are the bronchopulmonary segments here? Upper lobe same as the right side, APA, apical, posterior, anterior. Then in the lingula too, supralingular, infralingular. Then the lower lobe subsegments are same as right side. That means superior, anterior basal, medial basal, lateral basal, posterior basal. Okay. So this is the right lung and left lung taken together, and if it is a viva question or a window question, then they may ask the arteries, veins, nerves, that you can read from theory, and they can also ask about the histology, like what they ask in histology, what is the components of the trachea, that means bronchial tree, how there is first trachea, then principal bronchus, then secondary bronchus, tertiary bronchus, like that. That entire bronchial tree can be asked. And what is conducting zone? What is respiratory zone? What is conducting zone? Up to respiratory bronchiole. So beyond that, it is respiratory zone. This can be asked in your viva or grand. Yes, grand viva means grand viva, I mean, and your this thing, that window. But for the spotting, this may not be asked. So see, for the spotting, the major questions asked are only three: the hilum of both the lungs, and here arch of the azagus vein impression, here left side, the arch of aorta impression, and they may sometimes try the lingula and ask what are the bronchopulmonary segments contained within it.
Okay, sir.
So this is all about the lungs. Then the heart, you all know this is the anatomical position of the heart. Okay. So here is the apex that is formed by left ventricle, it's the base. So it is always ideal to know the four chambers. What is this? This is the aorta, ascending aorta, arch of aorta, descending aorta. So they usually tie the arch of aorta. And what are the branches? You know the branches, what are they? SAB. Very common side question. They don't tie the pulmonary trunk usually. But see over here, this can be tied, what I am showing you. See over here, there is a connection over here between the pulmonary trunk and the arch of aorta. This is called ligamentum arteriosum. Sometimes the examiner ties this, and the question they ask is what it connects. You can see it here. It connects the aorta with the aorta of the pulmonary trunk, or it is a remnant of which structure? Ligamentum arteriosum, remnant of ductus arteriosus. Okay. So this ligamentum arteriosum can be tied, and there are two side questions. It is remnant of which structure, or it connects which structures. You can see what its connections. Pulmonary trunk with the aorta. Ligamentum arteriosum. Okay. It is remnant of ductus arteriosus and connects the pulmonary trunk with the arch of the aorta. Okay. And if an examiner is particularly very intent upon asking different questions, they may tie the ascending aorta or the descending aorta. So always mark what they have tied. If they tie it here, it is ascending aorta. If they tie it in the middle, it is the arch of aorta. If they tie it here, it is descending aorta. Okay. Then see, this is the right atrium, and see, it is tied. Okay. See, we always don't try the auricle. Even this is the auricle. Okay. We don't usually tie it. Okay. So even if it is tied on the auricle, the answer is atrium, right atrium. And regarding right atrium, only two side questions are there. One is name the openings. Name 2 to 4 openings. You know them. Supravenna cava, opening of infravenna cava, then coronary sinus, pericarditis minimi. Okay, antecardiac vein. Even the right atrioventricular orifice can be taken as an opening of the right atrium. Okay, or where it develops from. Remember two sources, that 3 to 4 sources, but for the PCD purpose, remember two sources. Rough part from primitive atrium, right side of primitive atrium, smooth part from right horn, the right horn of sinus venosus. The complete answer is right horn of sinus venosus. Yes. So see how easy it is in the spotting of the right atrium. Only two side questions are asked. And then see, you know, this pulmonary atrium begins from right ventricle. Okay. So this has to right ventricle. So that and this, that is the 4 pulmonary veins behind. 1, 2, 3, 4. They open left atrium. So this is left atrium, and see the left atrium is displaced posteriorly. No part of it is in the front. Okay. Then what you get here, the remaining chamber has to be the left ventricle. See, many things are here in the heart. Particularly, some people tie the apex. And they ask how it formed. Single chamber forms. What is the left ventricle? Okay. And you know the base is opposite to apex, so there you get the 2 atria, right atrium and left atrium. What is the surface called? Sternocostal surface. And what you get here? See, this is the right auricle, right atrium, right ventricle, the left ventricle and left auricle, but not the left atrium. So left atrium is displaced behind. Okay. So this is the sternocostal surface. This is left surface. What you get here? Left auricle, a part of left atrium and left ventricle. And do you know the borders? How do you go to the right border? Join the opening supravenna cava with opening infravenna cava. Then where that ends, begins the inferior border. That means opening infravenna cava, if you join the apex, you get the inferior border. And if where that ends, begins the left border. You join the apex to the left auricle, that is the left border. And as you can see, the right border is entirely on the right atrium, separates the sternocostal surface from the base. Okay. And the inferior surface, how is it separated? It separates sternocostal surface from the diaphragm surface, and this is left border that separates the sternocostal surface from the left surface. And again here, in the intact heart, all they tie is either the right atrium or the arch of aorta. But if the heart is opened up, they may tie the interatrial septum. Okay. And the invariable side question here is the source of development. That 3 sources of development: septum primum, septum secundum, and septum intermedium. See, over here, you can find that fossa ovalis, limbus fossa ovalis, but don't mistake that for the spotting. All we tie here is the septum as a whole. We neither tie the fossa ovalis nor the limbus fossa ovalis. Okay. So if the tying is in between 2 atria, the identification is only septum, interatrial septum. Okay. And they ask the 2 things. develop like this, identify the structure, name any two structures from which it develops. So you may write any two of the septum, primum, secundum and intermedium, but if you write the three, it's okay also. Then see, there is a lot of thing in the inside like this trabeculi carni, that papillary muscle, chordae tendon, but they are not tied, neither the valves are tied. So one thing they can do, if they have opened up the ventricles, they may tie the interventricular septum. Okay, so that is not here in the specimen, but it has to be cut like this, and the ventricular septum will be there. And again, the side question usually is source of development. That is, you can remove two sources: proximal bulbar septum, or simply the septum of bulbus cordis and the septum of primitive ventricle. These two fuse to form the interventricular septum. That is third source, but for the PCT purpose, these two are enough if you write. So now you see how easy the thorax PCT is. See how many structures can be tied. And another thing with the tie here, what is this? This is the right coronary artery, and this one is your left coronary artery. If they tie the two things, the usual side question is name some important branches. So don't write here arterial rami, ventricular rami. What you need to write for right coronary artery, first important branch is posterior interventricular artery, then right marginal artery and acial artery. So the three branches you should write when the right coronary artery is tied is first posterior interventricular artery, then right marginal artery, and then you can write acial artery. Similarly, they tie over this here the left coronary artery, and the usual side question asks is name some important branches. You know that two important branches, one is anterior interventricular artery and one is your circumflex artery or left circumflex artery.
And diagonal.
Okay. Diagonal, it's the third important branch. First you should write anterior interventricular and the left circumflex, because diagonal may not be present in some cases. Yes. Diagonal artery is an occasional branch. It may not be present in some cases. Then one can tell a lot of things here which will be important again for the grand viva or that window, like where the artery, both the artery originate, what is the course, what are the branches, but it will be unnecessary killing of time for the purpose of the PCT. And one thing, they may tie the coronary sinus over here. So,
Destroyed.
See, I have put the forceps in the right atrium, and it is pointing into a structure that is threaded already. So this is the place for the coronary sinus on the back of the arterioventricular groove on the left side. And so if it is intact somewhere, they may tie it. And see, the side question asks at the length, that is 2 to 3 centimeter, or where it opens. It opens into right atrium, or what are the tributaries. Three of them you can never forget in life: great cardiac vein, middle cardiac vein, and small cardiac vein. So what they can tie in the heart, either arch of aorta or right atrium, or they may tie the two coronary arteries or the coronary sinus and this, the inter-arterial septum. And if one is particularly bent upon asking something, they may tie the apex and ask how is it formed, or they may tie the ascending aorta or descending aorta, or someone can even tie the pulmonary trunk and ask what is branches, that is right pulmonary artery and left pulmonary artery. Okay. So that is the thing. And in trachea and esophagus, see the usual side question, you have seen that it is identified that for trachea and esophagus, the first side question is extent. So for trachea it is C6 to T6, remember. And for esophagus it is C6 to T11. Okay. Or they can ask the length. For trachea it is 10 to 12 centimeter. If you write 10 centimeters, also okay. For the esophagus, 10 inches or 25 centimeters. And another question they asked regarding the trachea is, what are the number of rings, tracheal rings? That is 16 to 20. Or what is the nature of that ring? That is hyaline cartilage. And again, a strict examiner can ask about the arterial vein. See, artery is infothyroid artery, vein is infothyroid vein. Okay. In the esophagus, they can ask the parts, the three parts: cervical part, thoracic part, abdominal part. Or they may ask for the constriction. They may need 2 to 4 constriction of esophagus. So at the first constriction at the beginning, junction with pharynx. Second constriction
at the arch of aorta.
Third constriction
At the primary bronchi.
Left principal crossing of left principal. And the fourth one.
And fourth one at the junction of diaphragm. Aortic diaphragm.
The diaphragm. Okay. What are the vertebral levels? Can anyone answer?
What sir?
C6, T4, then T6 and then T11.
T6, T4, T6,
T10 and T12.
And that is
T10, because where it pierces the diaphragm and not where it ends. So if you see this, these are the most possible side questions, And along with that, spotting questions from thorax, you see how minimum they are. So never miss the thorax visiting, because if you cover at least these questions, I think somehow you will get a pass. And for the bones, sternum can be asked, and the usual side question they ask here, they paint the area for pectoralis major, okay, and that's what is attached here. Or they may ask name 2 to 4 importances of sternal angle, or its vertebral level. What is the vertebral level of sternal angle? Lower border. Best answer is lower border of T4. Best answer. If you write T4 also, some constant examiner may give you full marks. Ribs, there is no need to read everything. What they ask is fast rib or typical rib. And if they put the fast rib, usually what they paint is the neck, where that chain pulling band structure is there. Okay, so what are these? So they put it the question like this: fast rib is there, so identify the rib, fast rib, tell its sides, left or right, this is 1 mark. Then the next question, they paint that area in front of the neck and ask what is related here. What is related there? Chain is
sympathetic chain, then posterior costal.
V, chain pulling on V for?
V for vein, sir. That
which vein? Then fast posterior, then next one, A for?
A for artery, inferior thoracic artery.
Artery? Then not thoracic artery, then fast thoracic nerve. So that is the usual question. And if again some strict examiner may paint those major muscles attached, like on the fast rib, like serratus anterior or scalenus medius, or they may paint the scalene tubercle, and that's what is attached there, like that. टिपिकल रिप अगर वो डालते हैं स्पॉटिंग में, तो साइड क्वेश्चन वहाँ का निकालना मुश्किल है. साइड क्वेश्चन हो गए नहीं. हाँ, एक तो क्वेश्चन श्योर है कि आइडेंटिफाई द रिप, दैट टिपिकल रिप ऑन द साइड, बट उसका साइड क्वेश्चन इट हैज टू बी फोर्स्ड क्वेश्चन. And they may ask, amongst all the vertebra, what they ask in spotting is the typical thoracic vertebra. That is put, identify the bone, typical thoracic vertebra. Then the side question is, name any 2 identifying characters. So heart rate body and costal facets present on the body and on the transverse process. Or you can write like that, say 2 demi-costal facets on the body and a single complete costal facet on the transverse process. Okay. So fast cover these things. Then if you have time, read everything, because this will be a simultaneous preparation for your for your internal and for your fast professional, because there you get in the viva all the bones can be asked in detail, that fast rib, typical rib or sternum, and they can ask in detail about heart and lungs. So, and regarding any viscera, you always read the source of development. That is not covered yet, but if you prepare for the internal or the fast professional, always read some source of development and the important anomalies. If someone is asking you heart in the viva, they may ask you about the tetralogy of Hallett. It is not covered yet, but when you read the viscera, always read the source of development and the major anomalies. That can be asked either in the viva or in the window. This much preparation is essential to get a pass in thorax. If you want to score more, you have to read everything. Please change the author.